It's never been applied before.
It's been attempted though. Like anytime a government tries to seize more power for itself, it never just goes swimmingly. When has it ever gone swimmingly? When has that
well,
ever actually worked?
are you talking about as it's happening or once it's established?
Any time. I mean, at any point in time, where has the attempt of a government to become massive ever long term worked out for the best? When has it ever worked out for the best? You can't name a single time. You've yet to name a single instance of this actually working.
Well, no,
It's completely.
I already,
It's a little bit frustrating. I don't mean to be mean, but it's a little bit frustrating because these ideas, they're not rooted in actual facts or history. They're just rooted in kind of a floating neverland where we just kind of everything works out for the best. It's not going to work out for the best. If you can name one place, I'm willing to talk
I
about it. But
already said that it's never worked out ever. This is the
it,
fourth time I said it now.
it's never worked out because it doesn't
Right.
work. It's been
That's,
tried, but it does not work.
yeah, but what doesn't work? Be specific.
The attempt to accumulate power across the world and suppress all humans under one sort of government has never worked long term. It has never worked. It's been attempted, but it has never worked. And whenever you get, here's the thing, even if you
So,
get a powerful nation that is over all these people, inevitably power corrupts. These are ideas that the Greeks had and that the Romans had whenever they had their Senate before they had an empire, because what they believed was that eventually, if you made states powerful enough, they would inevitably be corrupted by evil people. And so the question isn't whether or not a state will fall. The question is when it will fall. The United States will fall. I don't think it'll be in our lifetimes. I don't think it'll be in our grandkids' lifetimes. But eventually, the United States will
I
fall
think
like every empire ever has.
I
But
think
all
you're
you're doing is you're setting up that fall to be worse and worse and worse. States don't fall without wars. And all you're doing is you are setting up a massive worldwide state to have one massive war. That's
well.
inevitable. You can't name a nation that fell peacefully. Nations never just go out with a little whimper. The more power you collect, the more
So,
work you have to do to sustain that levels. Right now, the U.S., we're falling behind a little bit because we're having problems sustaining the levels of our government that went out and stuck their nose in everything in the last 60 years. And they can't keep up doing it because now they're being found out. You do that on a worldwide scale, it will happen.
uh, yeah, maybe, but again, I think
Not maybe. It definitely will. You're
well,
arguing against
again,
human nature. You're arguing against the very human nature.
keep going back to that, but it's never been established. So we can speculate, but again,
No, it's
like
not speculation. No, see, that's speculation. It's not speculation. This is that you
no,
can't. What you're doing is you are presenting an idea scientifically. You're presenting an idea. Whenever you present an idea scientifically, you have to come with data and information as to why you believe this will work. So far, you haven't given me a single instance of how or why this would work, other than well, we could just all kind of be linked up.
because I want to, for instance, any petty crime would now be the death penalty.
What the hell are you talking about?
Like in a one world order, if like say if I had it my way,
So yes,
that's
so
what it,
you're saying that any petty crime would be the death penalty, and that would stop lawlessness. Is that what you're insinuating?
uh, that would no, that would uh, what's the best way to put it? That would hinder people who are disloyal to the government.
Okay, so what happens if that government decides that what is law and what isn't law? And if you have a one world government, suddenly they are not only choosing how to enforce laws, they're choosing those laws as well. And you have, what if they say it is illegal for your hair to be more than 3 inches long? You have,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not just a funny thing either. That is a real thing that large governments have put on people. If you're going to be Jewish, you got to wear this tag. If you're going to be a Soviet, you got to attend at least 3 classes a week, and you got to talk positively about communism even within your own home. If your kid rats on you, you're getting sent off to Siberia. When you
Should be
give governments that much power, it sounds right. Oh yeah, we can just have a great enforcement, but the reality is, it always ends up becoming in favor of a very few people who have control over everybody.
but
People
you
blindly follow it, and
you
we're
said
oppressed.
hold on, you said that it doesn't work because blah 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 something, and you said something about your leaders wouldn't have your best interest in mind, right?
Correct.
Right. Okay. So, in my opinion, that doesn't matter whether they have your best interest in mind or not. What matters is the end result.
Society will not. They will not care. Not even your best interest. When I say your best interest, I'm not just talking about you personally. I'm talking about as a society, people who come into government positions of power care only about the success of the state, even if it means the welfare of the actual majority of the citizens isn't good. Ask anybody who was involved in any mass government system over the last 1,000, 2,000 years. Pull up a dead Roman, ask them about how the oppression of a large government system inevitably leads to forms of corruption, not just for the state might prosper, right? In the 1950s and 40s and 60s, the United States prospered. A lot of its people didn't. Just because a state prospers doesn't mean the people will. You're willingly handing over your ability to prosper so that the government can succeed. That's bootlicking. That's not an idea. That's not a strong ideology. That's just bootlicking.
Okay, so I have a feeling I know where you line up on the political spectrum, but Hispanic right winger, how do you do?
Yeah, I don't like taxes.
You don't like taxes?
Yeah.
So that's about sums it up.
Yep.
Okay. I think nobody should own. There should be no currency.
Nah,
Okay,
man, I gotta trade with something.
No. There should be no currency, and there should be the death penalty for any petty crime. That's what. That's. I think. I think.
So what if I'm framed for it?
What if you're framed for a petty crime?
Yeah. What if someone comes up to me and says, "What if someone says to the police, oh, that dude, he slapped me across the face with a rubber glove."
Yeah, like French Revolution. Yeah, then you're out of luck, I guess. But
yeah, I'm just.
Yeah, that's a terrible way to
cringe.
think. Like that's if anybody can be, you're letting the government create laws that then they enforce however they want to. That's a terrible ideology. You're not thinking this through. You haven't thought this through at all.
You're hearing me out. The French Revolution is what I'm aiming for. But constant. So
the French were staunchly in favor of a highly free society and were influential in the American government thinking the way that they did.
Right, but thinking small government. The French Revolution.
Yeah, the monarchy was pretty cringe.
Well, it's exactly what you're talking about, like where people were basically saying like, if people speculated against, or like basically somebody could say like, oh, this person said this bad about the government, and then they would just like go to that person whether they said it or not, and then they would just put them in the guillotine.
Yes, that's what would happen. That is what would happen.
Yeah, that's what I want.
So why would you blindly support a government that would just wants to kill you for not liking them?
I actually would. I kind of honestly think it was a shame that they ever got rid of the guillotine, because that's a very quick and like humane way of.
Okay, you're not answering the question. Why would you want to support a government that would kill you for things you in this really weird world you're living in? And I don't know what you've got going on, but in this really weird world you're living in, the government is just going to punish everybody for breaking laws and not being blindly obedient. But what happens when the government knocks on your door personally and says your job is to be a laborer for this railroad going to absolutely nowhere? You're going to work 12 hours a day and your pay is going to be bread. And then we're going to pay you in something, but then you have to pay us back for guarding you. These guards around here, they have to be paid. So your pay is going to go back to those guards. So all you go home with is 50 cents every single day working 12 hours a day in the heat. What happens whenever that's what's told to you by this massive government that you just want to bow down to? You're still going to be in support of it? When your spirit is broken and your family's drawn off to it and your little brothers and sisters are being taken away from their homes and being trained up to be little, you're going to be blindly.
Again, it's the greater good that I'm after. I'm after the means to an end.
But again, this is where you are just being willingly and blindly ignorant here. It's not the greater good. It's the good for a select few. Any government system like that is not for the greater good, but it's shoved down the throats of young people as, oh, this is good for everybody. We're all in it together. Read about the Hungarian Revolution of 1957. What you said is why a lot of Hungarians stuck around to work under the Soviets and the communists in the 1950s, because they believed that they're doing it, oh, I'm going to work for less pay at this factory, but it's for the greater good, and one of these days it'll pay back. It never ended up paying back, and they had to freaking flee across the border into safer places and were gunned down along the way. It never is for the greater good. Large governments always end up lying or backhanding you. That's you are living in a dystopian world that doesn't exist. You're arguing against human nature. You're talking like people have four heads when the reality is that we know how people behave when they're given large amounts of control. It's never for the greater good, ever.
Yeah. I've never claimed that though.
You just said that you would be willing to let your little brothers and sisters be carried
No,
off
you
to be
no no
slaves to the government for the
no
greater
no
good.
no 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 no. What you said? No. I never said that anyone who was in control of this government would be doing it for the greater good. I never said that when we were talking about other countries that have tried to establish one world governments or conquering nations or dictatorships, or if you're talking about North Korea, I never said that they had the greater good in mind for their people. Never said it. Never would say it. That's a crazy thing to say.
So then why you literally just said that you would be okay with the government picking you up and telling you to go work for nothing but bread for 12 hours
Right.
a day in the sun for the greater good.
Right.
And so what you're telling me is that you would believe the government when they told you, "Hey, this is for the greater good." You
No,
would
I believe
believe
that
them.
I'm doing it for the greater good.
You would again, bro. You are just telling what you don't realize is that I don't know what books you've read, documentaries you've watched, or whatever, but it's you're a victim of propaganda, clear propaganda. Oh, it's for the greater good to give up all of your power. Big trust, bro. Trust us. Give us everything that you
No,
have. Give us all your freedoms, and it's for the greater good. It's never
I
been for the
think
greater good.
I think honestly, like, so you would agree that we have an overpopulation problem, right?
Overpopulation problem?
Yeah.
No, we've got a labor shortage, not excessive laborers. That's why, if anything,
So we
we
don't. The
need to
world does
be
not have an overpopulation problem.
maybe parts of the world, but no, if we don't have an overpopulation issue, I don't think. But I do think that we are starting to see population trends decline within the U.S. But I don't think we have an overpopulation issue. I think that's an urban issue more than a rural issue. There are many rural communities that are underserved. We got a lot of there's a lack of labor in the
Sorry, hold
world.
on. I just want to make sure that Hispanic right wing. Do you have like? Are you trying to like? Do you have something to say? I feel like we're
Yeah,
just like
I want to talk about what you thought about currency.
currency. By the way, look at my Swedish comb here. Look at how cool this is. Anyway, what? Sweet.
Oh, that's
What'd you say?
sick, bro.
Currency.
I
Yeah,
want to talk about currency. Yeah,
Roger. What
yeah. I
about
don't.
currency?
First up, I don't like taxes. Second, I need something to use to pay for gas.
Wait,
Okay, so what? Are you? Have you thought of different solutions for that?
Make it cheaper.
Make it cheaper. Uh, yeah, yeah. That'd be cool. Uh, I thought you were going to say something about like establishing a new currency or something.
Nah, because you were saying that you don't believe in currency.
Right. So
Uh-huh.
you wouldn't have to pay taxes if there's not a currency.
I mean, we kind of need a currency.
But you don't want to pay taxes.
I mean, taxation is theft.
Okay. Well, then okay. There you go. Welcome to the new world order.
Man, it kind of sucks paying taxes.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what's great about power washing? All cash, no taxes.
All cash, no taxes for power washing. Well, I'll have to keep that in mind when the one world government is established. You're in a pot. How
Hey,
you
can you
doing?
hear me?
I can hear you.
Hey, what's up? So, to add on to Right Wing's point, um, I wanted to let you know that Bitcoin is freedom and Bitcoin is the solution to pretty much all our problems.
Um, okay. I don't want to have like a whole crypto talk at the moment. Like if that's cool. I've had like
Okay.
30 people in the past week try to convince me that I need to like get into Bitcoin and stuff. Um, I just think currency shouldn't exist in any form. I think everything should be
So
based upon labor.
that's a pure form of communism, is
So
what
you
you're
want people to
saying.
rely off goodwill,
Goodwill and labor, hard labor.
but what if I'm evil?
So
I,
so just
I
to,
no. What is wrong? What is so wrong with certain people struggling every now and then and like getting the shit end of the deal for a while? You know what I mean? And then it's like a lazy Susan. Next
so
person up. Like every night you rotate it, but look, people, buck it up.
so you believe in communism.
Nah, I don't. I mean, that's got its own issues. I believe in a one world government, that's closer to, uh, a fascist totalitarianism, or actually, it'd be a fascist. But there'd be an oligarchy aspect to it as well. So it's like, it,
So fascism is the complete antithesis of communism. So fascism would be extremely right wing. So
okay,
you're saying
yeah, yeah.
one person or one entity controlling everything and everyone.
But again, the oligarchy aspect comes into that as well. It'd be a group of it'd be like a totalitarianist oligarchy.
And why do you think that would be more beneficial than like capitalism and all of these other systems?
But then at the same time, somehow that have to be power would the power structure. If there's no currency, there's difficulties there in terms of like what can be amassed, equivalent to currency as power. Like what is the convert, what's the conversion there? Because then the leaders, like, how do they amass power, keep power in a uh, uh, moneyless or a moneyless society. What am I trying to say? Society without a currency.
Yeah.
You know what I
No,
mean? Like if they can't amass power through wealth, then you know where does it go from there? But all I'm saying is, I think more guillotines are necessary. I think, honestly, just like if anyone's acting up, like anyone should have the right to just strangle them, I guess.
but
Huh?
okay. If there's no currency, then how
What?
do people trade and how do people remit money and transfer wealth? If there's no,
Nah, go back.
are you
Nah, go
are
back.
you
I want
saying
to hear the part about the guillotines.
that we should do like
No,
some sort of bartering system?
well, yeah, but well, yes and no. I mean, it wouldn't be dictated by us though. It'd be top down. So it'd be like basically like you're gonna do this for this person for X amount of time, and get this in return, and nobody has a say in it.
But then wouldn't that mean the people on top of the hierarchy has everything and can control everything? Isn't that a bit corrupted?
Absolutely, yes,
And that's okay.
yeah.
That's not really fair though.
I don't give a shit.
Why not? You're
But
okay with
that's
that?
not very
Why are you
nice.
okay? Why are you okay with that? That's not really equality.
No, 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 no. Wait,
That's
wait.
not
Tell that to
like
the slaves.
Sorry, I had a bit of a hiccup there. How is that not? How is that not equality?
okay. So let's say we have
Equality of
one.
outcome. Make everybody poor.
So, so let's say if we have that type of structure, where does innovation come along? Where does competition come along? Where do all these other factors of economics and politics
Based
come?
on what's dictated.
But if there's a dictator, there won't be any competition, and that won't drive innovation. That's
Sure, there
the
will,
whole
because
purpose of capitalism as
they'll
well.
dictate the means of competition.
But what if there's no money, no incentive? Then what are they competing for? If everybody is kind of
They're
like under
competing
this
for the right to
umbrella.
not be slaughtered.
Oh, like